Roska and Untold, thanks so much for joining us this morning, and a big hearty congratulations on your recent collaboration. How are you pleased with the results?
Yeah, of course you are. It's it's wicked. It all came together, and we wouldn't put out a tune that we weren't both happy with. So,
Exactly. Vibes. Yeah, man. I mean, I think it's a good collaboration. You can both hear our sounds in that collaboration, which is a good thing as well. Do you know what I mean? Because you could do a collaboration, it comes out completely different, which ain't a bad thing, but at least you can hear both of what we've been doing in the last year and a bit.
Sure. I want to ask you a bit more about the sound, but when did you guys first start working together?
I mean, I've done a remix on for Jack on Hot Flush called Just For You but this time last year, isn't it? But roughly about that time, yeah. But I think it was April last year, and and then we're just talking. We've been talking ever since, sort of on and off, and I just thought, why not? I weren't really doing much. My album was sort of on the verge of coming out, process, and then we done it about end of last year. We just kind of just thought, you know what, let's do a little collaboration. Just send over stems and get something running, man.
Jack, I've got a question for you. Your music's been defined by dubstep over the years, if that's a fair thing to say. What made you go for something that's more of a UK funky house style with this collaboration?
Yeah, I mean, my beats have been getting slower and slower over the last year, and I mean, really, most of the stuff I'm writing at the moment is it's at house tempo. The lines, I think like what defines dubstep and what defines funky is such a grey area now, and that's changed a lot since it has 6 months ago. So to me, it's just bass music. It's kind of there's not so many rules that define it.
So when you guys sat down to write Myth, was it a case of you both went to the studio and worked on it, or did you each do a little bit of work and then pass it to the other?
No, I mean, we just Wayne just sent over some ideas and we just swapped sounds, and kind of, to be honest, it just came together really, really quickly and easy. It was like, we've been chatting already, like the remix that Wayne did, it was running, so we both kind of knew each other's sound, so it's just, getting it together really quickly. I mean, that's the good thing about work, you can just send stuff over and work together really without being in the same studio,
Yeah. I think there's kind of less pressure as well, and I think that's what kind of helps us get our sound out easier as well, because we're both in our own environments. Do you know what I mean? That's pretty much about it, really. With that, you know what I mean? We're in our own environments, comfortable. We can just kind of get it in there really quickly. I mean, it took about a week, I reckon, innit, to get the first one done, and second one was a little bit shorter as well.
How did you guys find working together as artists?
It was quick, innit, really. It was just there wasn't really much to it. I think we kind of, like Jack was saying, we know our sounds, you know what I mean? So it just makes it that much more easier. Do you know what I mean?
Guys, I was hoping for some juicy gossip. I was thinking you'd say, God, he plays that Roska jingle all the time, Disappointed.
I wanted an Untold, to be honest. I was a bit gutted about that, but it wasn't going to happen. No, I mean the thing about, for me, is I can't do the funky drums. No one does drums like him. So it's okay, so that's up to you. You do that. You kind of take care of them, and I just kind of noodled over the top. Do you know what I mean? Put some squelchy bass sounds in it, and it came about easy.
Does this suggest or hint at a foray into more of a funky sound for you, Jack?
Yeah, never say never. I mean, like I say, at the moment, it's just a bunch of labels, really. What's funky? What's dubstep? What's house? I don't sit at the sequencer and just go, right, I'm going to write a dubstep tune, I'm going to write a funky tune. I just have an idea, and maybe the tempo will go up or down, but it's just kind of whoever picks up on it. I think the good thing about this tune is I think it's going to get play from people in the funky scene and in dubstep as well. It's got wide reach, which is good.
Do you both think current house releases contain or convey a certain lack of imagination at the moment?
I mean, everyone knows there's a lot of music out there, and because it's so easy to kind of get software and get a tune out there, the quality's not always going to be there, but I don't know. There's diamonds in the rough, do you know what I mean? But there's a lot of kind of fairly polite house music, dubstep music being made, you know.
I mean, like Jack was saying, there is a lot of sort of music that's coming through that isn't, you know, worked on as much as or thought through, and like even with like now like sort of dubstep sort of come into the limelight of like the mainstream. Now my inbox is just full of dubstep from producers that I don't even know about, and a lot of the tunes are just sort of like copying what they done last year. Do you know what I mean? And like even with like funky as well, there's a lot of tunes that are just watered down. It's like, you know, they're trying to push it, you know, to audiences when they, you know what I mean? It's like work on what you've got in the underground first and kind of work your fan base and then push out. Do you know what I mean? That's how I've always done things.
So the scene's obviously quite saturated, but Wayne, when you're looking for inspiration, which artists do you stick on the stereo?
Do you know what? I mean, I listen to music, but I don't really take much inspiration from it. Like, when I mean that, I mean like, you know, I listen to like people like, you know, Scream, and like I've listened to his album, and do you know what I mean? I listen to, you know, Mount Kimby and a few other people, but I don't really sit there and go, do you know what I mean, and take away what I've heard. Do you know what I mean? A lot of the stuff, you know, majority of the time actually, I lock myself away and like I just kind of stop listening to music and just get in the studio and kind of focus on what I want to do. That's how I've sort of come up with my own sort of style in terms of like the way I produce and the way my drum patterns are alongside funky, and that's the way like sort of it can kind of stretch into, you know, funky and, you know, maybe a little bit of dubstep as well.
So if it's not other music that inspires you to write tunes, what does inspire you?
I kind of just like, I think music does inspire me in a way, but it's like it's not a thing where I can go, you know what I mean, yeah, he's my inspiration. Do you know what I mean? Because I listen to a wide range of music anyway, but majority of the time it's like I can't say yeah and pinpoint it out. Yeah. But like I do loads of other stuff, do you know what I mean? Like, you know, I draw as well and a few other things. So
guys, with this release, why numbers over Hemlock or Kicks and Snares?
Meet in the middle, innit?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I think Hemlock at the moment, it didn't quite feel right for it. Like it's funny with that label now. It's I remember something that like Code 9 said about like hyperdub. Maybe this was about a year ago. It chooses its own destiny now. Like it's its own entity, and like he's less in control of it. And that's kind of rung true with me now. It's like when we're like looking for a release for it, we just sort of know whether it's right or not, you know. And it's not necessarily. I mean, you know, we could have put it on Hemlock, but you know, I think it's. You know, I just think with a label like Numbers, they've just got it's perfect because it's just got that reach. You know, they've got people from house, you know, all different scenes, kind of like clocking them, and they're releasing across the spectrum. So it just seemed like a good fit, you know.
Sure. And is there a possibility of you guys coming together to do the live thing with the release at all?
Live.
I know it's only a couple of tracks, but
there's no. Yeah, we haven't got much time.
About 5 minutes, isn't it?
Yeah, I need to get my head around playing live and kind of what that means, because I don't know. I just see a lot of bored-looking people behind laptops tweaking effects. So I think if it's gonna be done, it's got to be done properly, you know. So definitely not for this one. Maybe in the future.
Question for you, Wayne. Where did the idea come from for your jingle? The Roska.
Well,
always wanted to ask you that. So
it's actually a clip from a mix CD. Me and my cousin done that because I used to MC as well back in the day, and yeah, it actually came from there. So I took it and I just kind of used it throughout. And I think I used it on my second release, which is Climate Change. It came out on the Climate Change EP in 2008, and ever since I've used it on the odd tune, and it's just become like everybody sort of asked for it. I mean, funny thing, I'd done a remix for Mode Selector for Art and Cash, and when I'd done it, I left it out. I left the Roska sample out, and they was like, yeah, great, you know, the remix is great, we really love it. And he goes, yeah, but there's one thing missing. And I was just like, what do you mean? And he goes, yeah, the Roska sample. So I had to put it in there. Do you know what I mean? So I can't get rid of it.
Amazing. Never get rid of it. It's awesome. Guys, thanks a lot for joining us. Best of luck.
Cheers.
Cheers.